We as humans find inspiration in everything in our world. Sometimes it is the world around us itself, or sometimes it is the people in it. Much has the potential to inspire, whether it be books, films, art, music, television, even nature itself. But the thing is, we are all inspired by the same things over and over and over again, but the way we perceive them is what changes. We can't truly measure everything a person sees, feels, or tastes by scientific methods, but we can get a glimpse of how other people experience and react to things through observation, through exposure. Everyone has a different take on an event. Every eye sees a different shade of colour for all we know. This is the beauty of perception. Originality. Everyone gets inspired by the same things in different ways, and the world becomes colourful. And I hope to show you how diverse and fascinating it can truly be. What makes us all different in this regard? Is it our senses, our eyes, our intellect, our personality, our upbringing, our beliefs, our country, our culture? Or is it something more? Really, it's just a mix of all of these things into one big, great mess that all adds up to make us individuals. So many factors come into play when it comes to how we perceive anything, both physically and mentally. There are factors such as synesthesia, which affects some people and how they perceive things, to the point where they literally are forced to see some things differently because their senses are wired in a different way to most people. There are so many other factors we don't know about other than simply things like colour, eyesight, and probably some we haven't even discovered yet, so it's nearly impossible to cover them all. So this is why we're focusing on just the one for this documentary. Music. More specifically, genre of music. Why? Music is a key source of inspiration for many people around the world, and it often transcends many cultural and language barriers, as sound is universal and requires no lingual understanding. Despite this, however, taste in music varies from person to person. Individual preference results in different band images, genres, and even their listeners sometimes branch off into subcultures. These different subcultures promote diversity in our society, and thus, despite the fact we're all looking at the same things over and over and over again, somehow we have all branched off into this. Somehow our society has become this broad. I have decided to test this by interviewing 6 people and showing them 6 pieces of music, and then asking them different questions about what they thought of the music and how it made them feel, what they perceived. These 6 pieces of music were all based on different genres and thus should trigger different reactions.
Hi, I'm Tristan Ellington, I'm 18. My favourite genre of music is jazz.
Honeymore, 18, and classic rock.
Isana Feldwick, 19, and alternative rock.
Okay, my name's Will Hansel, I'm 18 years old, and my favourite genre of music is like alternative rock.
I'm Claudia, I'm 18, I like rock music, it's pimpin'.
I'm Donald McGregor, I'm 17 years old, and my favourite music is probably rock, pop, punk, something around that genre.
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, it was alright. It sounded sort of like it sounded to me like sort of like typical 80s rock, really.
Yeah, it was alright.
Very old rock, very old rock. It felt like the type of music that would be played in an 80s movie, an 80s coming of age movie.
Rock music, maybe 80s rock or metal. No, not metal. Maybe glam metal, glam rock.
Sort of not pumped up, but that kind of feeling. Like you could tell, like, if it was used in like a piece, it'd be like an action sequence or something like that.
It made me want to groove out, kind of happy. I wanted to headbang to it.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Well, mostly I was just trying to run through all the 80s coming of age movies I've ever seen and trying to work out which one I've heard it from.
Not really anything, really. I was just sort of listening to it.
Just I was picturing what I'd see in the music video kind of thing.
You're picturing them playing instruments then?
Yeah, live.
What came to mind was a montage from a really cheesy 80s film. Like a cop cheesy 80s film.
particularly. I liked the second half more than I liked the first half.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was alright.
Like, I don't know, maybe pop punk?
Metal. Is it like screamo metal?
I feel like you want me to say heavy rock or metal, but my brothers and sisters have played me what's real heavy rock and metal, so to me that was rock verging on light rock.
How does it make me feel? Like like that.
Didn't really.
Badassy type, very angry type music.
So the first one was introduction of like, the protagonist. That would definitely be the antagonist. But once again, I can imagine singing in some kind of anime show.
Seems like the song to the outro of an anime.
It was mostly association, so it just reminded me of memories when I was listening to this type of music. So just imagining myself in a car with my sister just listening to this type of music.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
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 Is that a glitch?
Like dance music.
It kind of reminded me of like an Ibiza dance tune.
Not entirely sure. Maybe a bit hyperactive.
Chill. It was very. I just.
It was sort of like very upbeat, sort of like dance type music.
Gerard Way during the Danger Days with his sexy red hair.
Like massive like concerts. I don't know, like festivals.
Kind of like a contrast between nature and machinery, almost. You have the sort of all like very atmospheric kind of deep tune in the background, and then sort of pixelated glitchy bits would come in at certain points.
Did you like the music, Honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yes.
Nice blues, jazzy blues.
Jazz music.
Jazz. Jazz, jazz, jazz. Noir, jazz, jazz, shadows, noir, jazz, hey tootsies, jazz.
Relaxed. It was sort of very slow paced and relaxing, and just like any jazz song really, they're all quite relaxing.
Chill
Just chill.
and happy.
It was to start with almost creepy in a sense. The kind of the offbeat piano tune was kind of almost out of tune, as it were. It was a bit odd, but yeah.
Oh, like. Oh, I was thinking 1960s ballroom. And like couples dancing to it.
A noir detective in a bar where he's just sitting down. It's the bit in the middle where he's got no leads and he's just going to a bar and just sitting down. It's the bit where he's just chilling out, having a cigar, and has a short talk with a bartender. Just a kind of a slightly chill bit.
Yeah, I did, yeah, it was pretty cool.
No.
Yeah, I did. Enjoyed it thoroughly.
Orchestral or classical music.
Classic orchestral kind of.
What was the term? Contemporary classical.
It didn't make me feel anything, but well, no, wait, I don't know. Just like something's happening, like something important is happening. I don't know.
It was sort of like very epic and dramatic, really. It was like, you know, sort of like something intense and big was going on.
Think of things. I always think of stories to this because I watched I watched Fantasia when I was little. Actually, I watched both Fantasia when I was little, so I always know there's a story that goes along with this. I always think of the story that goes along with this. I always try to work it out, and I absolutely love this kind of stuff.
Some kind of military march, like a show of power or strength or discipline. I wouldn't really relate it to a positive effect. There was sort of definite sort of dark, negative tones, and then there's an antagonist in the story displaying their power.
Yeah, at first I didn't like it too much. It was quite so. It sounded a bit sort of like acoustic, sort of like country-like music, but it's sort of like it built when it kind of the guitar kicked in. It sounded a bit more epic, really, and more of an epic feel to it.
Yes.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I really liked it. It actually grabbed me because most of these they didn't really get me anywhere, but this one actually. It was very dramatic and it was very kind of in your face, but then it changed so much. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I have no idea. It sounded kind of bluesy, and at first I thought it was like country blues, and then it had palm muting, which is like a rock kind of thing, and then it had orchestra stuff.
This is really hard because I thought it was. Well, at first I thought it was like blues, but then obviously it was too twangy to be blues, so I thought maybe I can't put my finger on the genre.
It's sort of like the leaving song. I expect it to be an outro song in some description. So, ending, I suppose.
It started off quite slow and quite sort of not really sad, but sort of emotional, I guess. And sort of built up a lot more intense.
I do think it would be kind of like a mood music. I feel like it's in the background of a movie where something's happening, something dramatic but silent, something slightly sinister in the background, and there's a whole lot of stuff happening at once, but it feels very slow and it feels very low down and small, but it's very big.
Sort of a gunslinger type man walking out of sort of a western town as the sun sets, so there was sort of metal overtones coming in just underneath the current of western music, which I thought would be sort of a precursor to the night drawing in, and the trumpets kind of signify that it's a hero's march, as it were.
These greatly different opinions and perspectives show the uniqueness of an individual's perception, as everyone came up with something different. There were similarities, but there was always differences in every last opinion, and those differences are very clear to us as well, as viewers, because I have a different opinion to some of the stuff that was mentioned. I'm sure anyone watching will as well. It shows a very interesting part of how people visualise things within their mind. And I think that although we can't prove any of this stuff, I think observing it itself is absolutely fascinating. I hope you did too. God, this is shit.